The Nuggets took Game 1 of the finals in pretty convincing fashion despite a poor night shooting the ball. And while there are so many different contributing factors you can point to, it all starts with Nikola Jokic and his near-perfect execution offensively. On the very first possession of the game, Jokic comes off a cross screen so that he can get the ball in the pinch post, but Bam fights to get in front and take away that easy entry. So Jokic instead just turns the post up into a back screen for Murray to drive, which results in 2 points down low. And Jokic's ability to make plays like this away from the ball is really unique. Gordon isolates against Butler and watches the big man just seals Bam out of the play entirely so that he can't offer any help, which again leads to points in the paint. Another way he adds value off the ball is as a floor spacer. Denver clears aside for Gordon to post up Caleb Martin, and because Bam has to respect Jokic as a shooter, there's no sort of rim protection covering the lane, as Gordon just bullies his way in deep for 2. Here it is again, Gordon has a huge mismatch over Gabe Vincent and posts up, and with Jokic just one pass away on the wing, Bam doesn't even think about coming over to help, which is automatic offense for the Nuggets. Where Jokic is most valuable and most utilized away from the ball though is as a screener, and that's because no coverage is a viable option against him. Ball handlers are left with so much room to work with, as opposing bigs don't want to step over and leave him unattended. Here he sets a pin down for Michael Porter Jr., and notice how Bam's first instinct is to stay home instead of sliding in front of a drive, and just that slight hesitation is all it takes to give up a dunk. This time it's Bruce Brown who's coming off a ball screen, and although he gets the step on his man, Jimmy's only worried about not letting the ball get back to Jokic, giving up a real high percentage floater in the process. And that's the thing, in these actions the defense pretty much has to pick their poison. Jokic hands it off to KCP and Bam doesn't move an inch, which leaves the sharpshooter with a great look on a free throw line jumper. On this one, Haywood Highsmith has no real angle around Jokic's screen, so he instead expects a switch, but Bam doesn't want to give up that mismatch, so Jamal's just left all by himself on the elbow. This is what it looks like when they did switch. Murray pulls Bam with him to the top of the key so that Jokic can seal post position in the middle, and as soon as he gets the ball, you're forced to either give up a layup or send him to the line. Here it is again, this time against Jimmy Butler, but instead of putting it down as a scorer, MPJ comes from the opposite wing to set a flare screen on Bam, leaving one of the best shooters in basketball with a wide open triple. Murray's own threat as a scorer from all 3 levels also adds to the difficulty in defending these actions. Instead of staying home, Bam slides in front of the ball, and Jokic receiving a pass that close to the basket is pretty much a death sentence. The Nuggets clear an entire side of the floor for their signature 2-man game. Jokic lands a big screen, so Bam is forced to contain the ball, and as soon as he gets that pocket pass, he immediately spins across the lane for a little baby hook. Here's the exact same thing, except Bam does a great job of deterring a drive, while also getting back in front of Jokic to take away the paint. So he instead throws a little bump to the chest as he sets up a short fall-away jumper. As lethal as he is on the roll, he's maybe more effective when popping out to the perimeter. Throughout these playoffs, knocking down a ridiculous 47.5% of his 3-point shots. The last thing you want to do as a defense though, is give him a numbers advantage going downhill, and that's because he's one of the best passers this game has ever seen. It felt like Denver got whatever they wanted in the paint this game, and that's a result of Jokic just carving up the defense. Gordon seals post position on Vincent, and because of Joker's size, he can make reads right over the top of Bam, placing it perfectly in the restricted area for a dunk. Here it is again, Gordon posts up that mismatch, and when Jokic gets the ball, he places it where only Gordon can get it for more easy points down low. This time it's Gordon who's initiating the play. Murray jogs off a little decoy cross screen to the opposite elbow so that when Jokic gets the ball, he can dive to the cup for a real simple catch and finish. The Nuggets love going to these 3-man actions out of horn sets. Murray drops it into Jokic and runs off a back screen from Gordon. And because Gordon has relentlessly attacked that size advantage on previous possessions, Jimmy doesn't want to switch, leaving Murray on an island directly under the rim. I'm honestly not sure if Jokic made the wrong decision with the ball a single time, just generating open shot after open shot. And although Denver shot below 30% from 3, he was still able to mark 14 assists, 10 of those coming in the first half, while only turning the ball over twice, one of which was a pretty questionable offensive foul call. He gets the ball in the post with a mismatch on Jimmy, so Haywood Highsmith comes over from the weak side to double, and Jokic just does what any normal center would do, spinning into a cross-court pass that lands perfectly in the shooting pocket of Bruce Brown, who knocks down a warm-up triple. Sending any sort of extra help or attention at Joker is pretty much a guarantee for the ball to find the open man, and the Nuggets as a team are at their best when everyone's involved and making plays. So to counter this, what you'll see is a lot of defenses playing him in single coverage, to which he instead just takes over as a scorer, easily backing his way into the restricted area and throwing a couple fakes to earn himself a trip to the line. This time Bam does a good job of holding his ground down low and pokes at the ball to force him back out, and with the shot clock winding down, he decides to turn over his right shoulder for an uber efficient mid-range jumper. On top of those 14 assists, he poured in 27 points on 78% true shooting, so instead of Miami picking their poison, they just ended up having to deal with both, as Jokic is one of those few, rare offensive talents who can pick apart any sort of defensive strategy. That was more than apparent on the few possessions where the Heat threw out their signature zone defense, which was immediately countered by getting the ball to Jokic in the middle of the floor, where he can hurt you in a plethora of ways. Because Bam's under the basket in this zone, it's Max Strus who he's backing down from the elbow, and when Jimmy comes over to offer help, that leaves Michael Porter Jr. with a wide open top of the key triple. This time he gets the ball near the free throw line, but with nobody on his back, creating a 2-on-1. Bam doesn't know whether to play the lob or the floater, and neither would be the correct choice. Of course, Miami was able to avoid this at times by completely selling out on not letting Jokic catch the ball, but all that does is open up the zone to these swing passes, and a catch and shoot 3 for Jamal Murray. Nikola Jokic's unparalleled combination of size, scoring ability, playmaking, and value away from the ball allows him to impact his team's offense in a seemingly endless amount of ways, and when Denver runs through him, they're a pretty unsolvable puzzle, countering whatever defenses throw at them to get whatever they want. Erik Spoelstra and the Heat were no exception, trying all kinds of different looks on the big man, only to be met with perfect decision making, perfect execution, and perfect offense. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out my website and social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think of Jokic and what your predictions are for the rest of the series. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.